In this video, I am going to discuss the dangers of conformity. I will talk about martial arts later on. I will give you a second intro, and I will put it in a very harsh way. In a way that is extremely harsh, and some will take offense. But if I do not put it this way, the dangers will outweigh the benefits. And I will not do the topic justice, nor will I be giving people a fair chance to snap out of it and accept the consequences for doing the will of God. Make no mistake, the internal organization of every single nation is satanic. It is of this world, and it is designed to get you to bend to the will of people who are worldly, materialistic, shallow, and weak. I will explain to you what it means to be the top martial artist and why you should listen to me and not controlled opposition, celebrities, or people who will not risk everything to tell you what I am telling you. I will tell you it in a way that is very harsh and almost cruel. And believe it or not, it is not about breaking you down. It is about destroying the mind control that has taken hold of you and allowing you to free yourself. If I am wrong, then I will burn. But I know 100% for sure that I am right. There is not even the slightest doubt in my mind. Not just through scripture, but common sense. The people who make the order of societies are very evil. We know this by what they do. All the preventable deaths, all the eugenicists, all the fabrication, all the falsified evidence, all the lies, all the propaganda. And for what? Is there a greater good? No. It's just greed, greed, greed. Me, me, me. I know I will never be rewarded for my righteousness. I will just be punished more and more and more. And the better job I do, the more I will be punished. The only chance of me being given my rightful place in society will happen after I am dead. They will never allow me to be given my rightful place while I am alive. But when I am dead, it will not be such a major priority for them. However, they may attempt to twist my words. They will certainly try to make it play out in a way that is best for them. Never forget that I was completely against conformity and things of this world. And like many other insightful people, I predicted that it will get worse and not better. The new age will be an age of spiritual bottom feeding. One that righteous men should be more and more disgusted with, not more and more accepting of. Also, do not forget that liberals want to force you to do things you don't want to do more than conservatives. The reasons should be obvious. Number one, a conservative wants to maintain something that he and other people are at least somewhat comfortable with. There are varying degrees of comfort. The liberals, who are led by a small group of people who want to bring in the new world order, want to force you to do something that is evil and sell it to you as if it is good. They want to force babies to die by not allowing them their fair chance to complain. They want to force homosexuality on children and society. They want to force a gynocentric, unfair, feministic society on all of men who are masculine, manly, and self-respecting. They want to force you to accept their atheism, humanism, and Satanism, and use the government to do it. Now, I am not for conserving the white power structure of man, but for conserving the order of nature and the greater agenda of God, including the true principles in the Bible that liberals are trying to force you to give up as they infiltrate the church and pretend that the Bible doesn't really say things like homosexuality is a sin, or that it is some kind of a hidden, coded message. Never forget, never ever forget that in the Bible, when they draw parallels to something, it is because that something is true. For example, the devil is like, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Can the argument be made that, well, they are just drawing a parallel? Lions don't really roar. It's like, well, no fucking shit. Lions roar, right? These liars will try to twist things with that inferior logic. That, well, because they're not talking about roaring lions, lions don't really roar. It's the same thing with gays and the sexually immoral and that which is unnatural. Even if it was a metaphor or allegory, it does not change the fact that homosexuality is detestable to God. It was detestable in Sodom and Gomorrah. It was detestable in Leviticus. And it still is detestable. The same sexual immorality that disgusted the Lord and infuriated him in the Old Testament is being referred to in the New. No matter what they say, there is no way around it, and I have caught them time and time again trying to twist that. Their mission is to twist and destroy. For those people who refuse to give up Christianity, they will twist. For everyone whose complexes they can exploit, they will destroy any possible relationship with the Bible and those persons of interest, if you will. Thank you. In this video, I will talk about martial arts and the difference between fighting and martial arts for the umpteenth time. But first, I want you people to understand why this is happening. When you look at the Cold War, you look at the U.S. Army Guerrilla Warfare Handbooks, you look at politics, it is impossible to avoid the nations are concerned with everything that affects the internal organization of a nation. When you have a volatile nation full of duplicitous and conniving scum, such as Mexico, Not saying that all Mexicans are bad people. I have a lot of respect for a lot of hardworking Christian Hispanics and Mexicans. But when you have a nation like that, you cannot simply overlook illegal activities such as guns and drugs. You're faced with two choices. One, you spend a whole lot of money eradicating the drug trade. Or two, you consider how much easier it is to take a side in the drug war or to take a strategic stance. That way, your allies in America who benefit from the drug trade, whether they are big business, like big pharma, bankers laundering money, criminal street gangs that help give information in national security cases, and what have you. You make sure that these people have a certain relationship with you that is mutually beneficial. Why this is happening is that on the highest levels, above the director of the CIA, above the president, on the highest level of decision making, they have decided that their criminal rackets are going to run in a way that is in the best interest of them and their allies. I consider these people satanic because of their philosophy more than any secret society affiliations. They are conformists, they are cowards, they are materialistic, they are shallow, they are selfish, they are evil liars. These are satanic traits. They are also disproportionately Satanists, criminals, LGBT types, feminists, atheists, and racists, eugenicists. So I consider them Satanists, regardless how you slice it. They have adopted a satanic philosophy. I am not one of their allies. My entire life reflects a flawless history of being completely adverse to what they are doing and what they will do. Therefore, I was never a viable candidate for a position of social control or helping maintain the order or internal organization of America. Never have been, never will be. There are people who have lost personally even more than I have to the New World Order. Yet they help them anyway. I could never be that. I will push the line to the finish, and they know this. From the very first convicted speech I gave on the internet before being on YouTube, I made it absolutely clear to these people, this greater network of people, intelligence agencies, their hundreds of thousands of allies, collaborators, and informants, even before 9/11, that I would never conform, no way, no how, and that I am a man of God, and that the Nigerian Civil War has helped reaffirm that in my mind and in reality. Christians died fighting a genocidal government in the Nigerian Civil War, and that's part of the reason I was mad. And it did not escape me or elude me that white oppressors were called white devils. and that the Jews, the secret society Jews, had collaborated with the secret society Romans. And I connected this to the Illuminati and called them the people in charge since I was like 9 years old, especially 12, 13 years old. I was never going to change my mind. I knew that racist criminals ruled the world before I knew what eugenics was. I had the general idea of what they were doing and why before I knew what eugenics was. The reason why this is happening is because the internal organization of America and its allies, and pretty much the entire world to some degree, is that is a eugenics one. The philosophy that defines the internal organization of the world, of America, of the West, of Israel, of every country they heavily influence, which is basically every country in the world, is a eugenic one. So you have to understand, when they're considering who their allies are, just like in the U.S. Army Guerrilla Warfare Handbook, they say, who thinks like us? Just like when they choose which puppet leaders to put in charge. Who thinks like us? On some level, we are all pretty much aware of this because of politics, because of sports. In many ways, we are all very well aware, even the most ignorant in society, even the most out of touch, are also aware that if you take a stance that is adverse to the general population or to the group in charge or to the people surrounding you, that you will have a hard time in life. The opposite sex will be annoyed with you, want nothing to do with you. Potential employers will blacklist you, and so on. We all know this. We all know this. All gang stalking really is an unethical experimentation and mind control operations and psychological operations. All they really are is operations that reward people who think a certain way, which is consistent with the agenda of the eugenicists on top, and punishing those who do not think that way. Some of you will accuse me of drawing a line in the sand. That line has been drawn long before I was born. Those who are on the side of mass murderers because of their desire for social acceptance, and those who aren't. I cannot stress to you enough that someone who is down for the cause of righteousness, virtue, honor, and devotion to God will never conform, no matter how poor they are, no matter how tortured they are. And I'm one of those men. In the Bible and in Christianity, they refer to these people as people that walk in the light, beacons of light, the flock. And so on. To me, anyone who does not take my stance, including the people in my family, are cowards, who did not have the heart to go to the distance. And it does hurt me to say that. I think of a lot of people who go along to get along. Some of them, they're kind of polite, they're kind of nice. But you remember, there's different types of cowards. Not every coward is some pussy, shriveling, sweating under a blanket in the corner, saying, leave me alone over and over again. Or please don't hurt me over and over again. Some cowards are big bodybuilders. Some cowards are, Navy SEALs. Some cowards are nice people. Some cowards go out of their way to come off as brave. Some cowards are even risk takers. But what truly defines them as cowards is their inability to do the right thing. They are afraid of the consequences. They are afraid of not having pussy or money or being picked on or tortured or shunned. That is the essence of cowardice. And if you really search your soul, you will see that. Do not make the ignorant mistake of saying, well, you know, I just know better than to go against them. That is a coward's argument. Say your sister, your mother, your wife, at the same time are having a train ran on them by 10 people. Or 20. Do you say, well, I know better than to go against them because, you know, I'm gonna get hurt if I do. Someone like me will fight them, might win, might kill every last one of them, might not, might die a violent, bloody death. But it is the principle of wisdom and bravery that will make it so he fights anyway. Anything else is cowardice. Self-preservation is not an excuse for cowardice, or to be a coward, or to not do the right thing. I say it again. Self-preservation is not an excuse for not doing the right thing. Anyone who wants me to compromise is a coward. Anyone who wants me not to talk about their groups because they know that I'm right and there is no logical counter-argument is a coward. Anyone who did not stand with me and was well aware that I was doing the work of God is unequivocally, without exception, a coward. Only a coward sees it a different way. Because when it comes to doing the right thing, there is no excuse. There's just the arguments that cowards who do not want to accept the ramifications for doing the right thing come up with. Anyone who is pro-American is a coward. And that is one of the places where Alex Jones is wrong. America is the nation of satanic cowards. It always has been. It always will be. And so is the entire West. Do your history. Do your research. Into history, rather. America has never been the land of the brave. It is not brave to defy God. That is the act of a coward. It is a great risk. You're taking a great risk, but it is cowardly. And I'm going to leave you with this last example. For me to risk God's punishment by not helping the meek, by not doing for the least of my brethren,